I'm here on a special podcast with a special player, Portland Thorns attacker, Simone Charley. And it's special for many reasons, which will come out into this broadcast. But let's start from the start. Simone, big smile on your face. Where have I caught you in this moment right now?
Where have you caught me?
Where have I caught you? You seem nice and comfortable. You seem like are you at home?
Yeah, so I'm chilling in my kitchen. Yeah, just chilling.
I asked that question because at some point we might have to turn the camera around because I believe your landlord, Zarek Valentine, I don't know if he still is your landlord. We were on the phone to him a couple weeks ago preparing for Houston Dynamo, but I know you shared that with me before. Is he still your landlord? Are we going to have to go through the house with your camera?
Right. So I was in the team house last year, but now I'm in the apartment. So he's not my landlord anymore, but he's a couple of the girls still live there. So yeah.
Oh, great relate. He spoke so highly of you on a time with Zarek. What a big personality. What a big year it's been for you, for your team so far this year. When we go down that thread of comfort, take me to the feeling of comfort when you signed, when it was announced that you signed in January on a 2-year deal. We're going to get into all the hard work that went behind it. But that feeling when you put your pen to paper and you signed the 2-year deal, what was that like?
Yeah, it was exciting. Just kind of knowing where I'll be. And, it's going to be my third season, but fourth year here in Portland. And it's definitely started to feel like a home for me now. And, just getting used to the rhythm of everything, whether it's training or just the city in general. It's nice kind of knowing where you're going to be for a little bit. So, yeah.
Simone, how much do you attribute what you've accomplished in this last little bit to your off-season training?
Yeah, a lot. Ross was like,
Go on.
How was our training?
So the backstory to our listeners, to our viewers who are watching this on, I am out in Nashville. I split time between Nashville and Portland. My partner works for Nashville SC. I've got as much Timbers gear around the house as I can just to remind her who the loyalty should be with. But I do a little bit of coaching just on the side. And I couldn't believe my ears when the head of this facility, I compare it to like the Rocky gym for boxers where soccer players, and there's top names who come through here. And then when the name Simone Charley, and I was asked, do you know her? I said, know her. I sat with her at the Stand Together banquet in 2018. Of course I know her. And I was told she was going to be coming through the off-season training for you, the work that you, if anything, I took away from it. There were other trainers who were helping you and pushing you along, but you push yourself along as it is. For what you do behind the scenes, Simone, where does that come from, the work ethic? And then we'll get into a few more of those stories.
Yeah. So this off season was a great time. It was a great setup, as you know. Just training at Bold to Soccer. Ross, you were there doing our sessions. We had quite a few sessions. It was just a great training group. And I think for me, just being able to have such consistent training at such a high level was very helpful and helped bringing my game to the next level. And so very grateful for that opportunity in the off season. And glad that I got to train with you as well. That was great.
I forced that one. You didn't need to drop that in. But from what stood out to me, and I think this sums you up the more I'm getting to know you. I remember we did these little sprint runs, nothing with the ball. It was like old school Scottish runs, right? And you were making sure that your knee, you were going just through a little niggle in your knee and you were making sure it was okay. So you would jump in and out of training and your fitness, you were starting to ramp up. But this one session we did little sprints and it was going around the perimeter of the pitch. And you kept wanting to make this time. And I thought, Simone, you don't need to win the Challenge Cup today. You're okay. In your mind, you had to make the time. And you kept going. I think it was a 12, 15-second run. You kept going. You must have done another 5, 6 sets. And I thought, that poor knee, I hope you're okay, your fitness. Is that in you? Is that the obsession of you? Is that why you're at the level you're at now?
Yeah, I remember that session, actually. Yeah, that was a hard fitness run. But I think for me, it's just, I think hard work is just something that I've honestly had to learn. too. I think especially, coming in my first season in Portland, and I tried out for the team and I didn't make it. And that whole year, that whole season was dedicated to working hard and staying after practice and putting in that extra training. And so, yeah, for me, it's like if I want to continue to progress, then I have to continue those habits. And so, whether it's doing those fitness runs and I got to make this time and I got to do extra until I make that time, it's just the little things like that that is what's going to help me grow in my game.
For you, you've become accustomed to putting in the hard hours between your time at Vanderbilt, between being a star athlete as a triple jumper, and your soccer as well. And you're a 3-time, is that right? All-American triple jumper at Vanderbilt. How'd you balance that? And how did you share, that passion when you give so much to one sport to be able to have enough for the other?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was challenging for sure. I think, I didn't get a ton of sleep, but it was nice because I feel like it was, they were kind of a break from one another. And so just being able to kind of compartmentalize it a little bit, like, okay, this fall season, I get to focus on soccer. And then in the spring and summer, I get to give my all to track and field. It was a nice balance, especially having an individual sport versus a team sport. I feel like it brings out a lot of different characteristics and attributes, and you learn about yourself as an athlete. And so it was definitely challenging, and I feel like I had to grow when it comes to time management. Like there's a lot of, I would write everything out in my agenda from like hour to hour, just being very busy, but I absolutely loved it.
So let me tie that back in. Obviously, you went to Vanderbilt. That's why you were out here in Nashville in the off season. I think it was you were visiting your cousin, or was it your brother that was here? Because your cousin went to Vanderbilt as well.
Yeah, so my cousin did go to Vanderbilt, but my brother also, he works there. So
that's right.
I was crashing at his place and training. So,
so your time at Vanderbilt. So we're mentioning that how you're a 2-sport athlete. You could say 3-sport because indoor triple jump and outdoor is as well, right? But also you're balancing your schoolwork. You double majored. Am I right with this? Psychology, sociology, with a master's in medicine, health, and society.
Yeah.
For that, in terms of your studies and how passionate you are as a student as well, where does that come from? What is that like to be able to switch off from your sport to concentrate on that?
Yeah. So I think just when it comes to like academics, that's something that's always been important. I think instilled in me from my family from a young age. And just going to Vanderbilt is it's a good education and quality school when it comes to academics. And so for that reason, you can't cut corners. There's no like, oh, not try in class. It's like, no, just as hard as you work in soccer and track, it's like, you got to bring that to the classroom as well. But it was great. Like I enjoyed it, especially it being a smaller school. I feel like I got to learn from my professors and have like a good relationship with them, and same with my classmates. And it was great just being able to be challenged academically as well. And yeah, I loved it there. Nothing but great things to say.
I read in an article that your family meetings, your family reunions were actually at a track meet because your brother Miles and your sister Nicole, that they're athletes as well. Do they go to triple jump? But that's where your family reunions would be, at the track meet.
Yeah, basically. So my sister, she did triple jump and long jump at Auburn, and my brother did long jump and triple jump at Troy. And so, yeah, we'd always have track meets together. So it'd be just like a little family reunion. Our parents would come and we'd just be hanging out. So it was a good time.
It's fascinating. Let's, pun intended here, let's jump around then from your career after Vanderbilt. So when you were undrafted, and you mentioned that you've come into the Portland Thorns, what was the big breakthrough for you when finally you could get the attention and of Mark Parsons and be able to get some time on the pitch?
Yeah, so I would just say, kind of like I was saying when I first came out here, it was all about just hard work. I got here, didn't make the team, and so it was just putting in that time, getting those touches, and trying to like build in my game. And when I came back in 2019, that preseason was somewhat of a tryout for me, essentially. And it was nerve-wracking to say the absolute least. Oh my goodness. But But yeah, I think it was just the culmination of that hard work that I put in 2018 finally started to show up some on the field, and that's when Mark gave me an opportunity. And yeah, that was kind of the start of everything.
I've heard you compared to a couple of Portland Timbers players who, yeah, I watch their training sessions regularly, and when I was allowed to through COVID and the restrictions, and they compared you to a couple of players on the Timbers who stay afterwards and always want to do extras. Is that you? Is that you? If I were at Providence Park right now these days and I was, able to watch training sessions, is that you staying after Mark Parsons says, go, get in the ice bath, go stretch out, go do whatever? Are you still out on the pitch?
Yeah, I mean, there's things I definitely like to work on after training. I think there's a group of us that like to get in extra touches. So definitely have a group of people that I'm like, oh, what are you doing? Okay, I want to work on this. And we just kind of like work on stuff together. So yeah.
For you, that development, I know an important time for you was going to Canberra, across to Australia to Canberra United.
Mm-hmm.
How important were those games, and for that time for you to go across there and to get minutes, to get matches?
Yeah, so I was really excited to go play at Canberra, just like, well, for many reasons, but also just getting more games under my belt because I felt like that would also help just growing tactically. And so I think for me, just being able to play more games, get used to the professional level, as that was my the end of my first season in the NWSL. I think that was helpful for me, and just getting more minutes also builds confidence. And so yeah, I really enjoyed my time in Canberra. Also, Australia is just like a cool place to experience and to live in for a couple of months. And so, yeah, that was kind of the reason why I went, was just wanting to get more minutes and grow on the tactical side.
I saw a video of you across there. I don't know if this was a goal celebration, but I definitely saw a few dance moves that you were doing. Whether it was warm up, whether it was a goal, was it a goal celebration that you had going on there?
Me and my teammates had a couple of dances we love to do. So not for a goal celebration, but pregame we definitely had a couple handshakes with a couple moves in there.
Because you scored a couple of games ago for the Thorns, and you took the goal really well. I didn't see a dance celebration. Is that something that's coming?
I need to work on that.
Let's get into that before we need to let you go. With the Challenge Cup with Saturday, you've been in good form. The team's been in good form. You had a good assist for Christine Sinclair's goal in your last match. What does this match mean to you, to the club? How are you feeling going up against Gotham FC this Saturday?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I think for us, it's just another great challenge. Gotham FC, they're a quality side, quality team, as you guys have seen throughout the Challenge Cup. And so I think for us, it'll be a great challenge. I'm excited that we're able to play at home, play in front of our fans, and yeah, I'm looking forward to this opportunity for us to just grow as a team and continue to progress.
Well, Simone, we're all looking forward to watching you this Saturday. I'm looking forward to the opportunity not only to see you in Portland, but hopefully back here in Nashville, not only on the soccer pitch. You didn't teach me the dance moves last time. We had a little sending off, little gig for you before you took off. There were no dance moves, but it was a COVID world. Hopefully this offseason we get that chance.
Yeah, for sure. I know. I was like, we got to get the Bolta band back together.
Bolta, the training facility. Pete Kipley will give you the shout out there.
Yeah.
Simone, thank you so much.
No, thanks for having me.